Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Wow, what an incredible Friday we had here at Arsenal. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, right? I've been doing this transfer stuff for, this is like my 10th year of doing this now, since I've been on AFTV. And honestly, I've not seen Arsenal moving like how they're starting to move. Like the last transfer window and this transfer window, at last, we're moving like a proper team when it comes to transfers. I've remembered years of horrible transfer windows where we've done nothing, or these little last minute maneuvers to try and sneak this and sneak that. But at last, we're moving like a proper team as far as I'm concerned when it comes to transfer business. And that means that, sometimes you go after your main target, doesn't quite work out. But you know what? You have a plan B. And, and then also you pull off transfers that no one's expecting. You're scouting well. You're looking at players. You're active in the market. And I love to see how Arsenal are operating at the moment. We knew at the start of this January transfer window that we needed squad depth. We knew what we did last year in the January transfer window, right? And surely the hierarchy at Arsenal knows that cost us the top four by not strengthening in January, and they're not going to make the same mistake. This time round, different. Leandro Trossard bought in yesterday. Great signing, £21 million plus add-ons, going to take it up to around about £27 million. And Trossard has signed. And the good thing about the Trossard signature is that they signed him in time, so he is ready to play in the game against Manchester United. He trained with the team. Mikel Arteta spoke about it, said, listen, he's ready. He can hit the ground running. And this is a guy who scored big goals against big teams. Scored against us over the years, scored a hat-trick at Anfield. So he'll be ready to play some part in this game if needed. Excellent signing when it comes to our squad depth. Remember, we've got the FA Cup game next weekend. Let's hope we can stay in there and get away at Man City. That's really tough. But we got Europa League games as well. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to look at the bench and say, right, a bit stronger now. Smith Rowe's on there, Fabio Vieira, Trossard. That's looking a lot better, a lot more healthier. So well done to Arsenal on that signing. But then out of the blue, this is what I like. I like these out of the blue signings, right? Nobody's been tracking it. Nobody's been talking about it. Out of the blue came this one for Jakub Kiwior. I hope I've pronounced it right. Poland international, plays for Spezia, should I say, over there in Italy. He's a centre-back, 6'2", and a real top prospect. Now, this one came out of the blue for me. I wasn't expecting this one at all. There's been no links to him, just like a bit with the Trossard thing where, there was talk about Trossard, but Arsenal just bang, nailed him. It's the same thing with this one. There were a lot of clubs around Europe looking at this player. There's talk that Borussia Dortmund had already made a bid that had been turned down. AC Milan and Juventus were both interested in signing him. He's been playing really well over there in Italian football and turning heads. He played in the World Cup, or should I say at the World Cup, he played for Poland, and he played in all of their games in there. Poland did well actually at the World Cup, remember, and part of them doing well was their defence. And Arsenal have snapped him up. As I said, 6'2", he's a left-sided centre-back. Now, that's very significant because Arsenal have only got one left-sided centre-back, and that is Gabriel. And Gabriel's played all but one of the Premier League games this season. All but one of all games this season. You see, even sometimes in FA Cup games and Europa League games, when you want to rest Gabriel, you can't. You can't. Or if you've taken Gabriel out, you've had to put, Saliba in some of those Europa League games. So this adds squad depth. And I said yesterday on the show, maybe a centre-back, maybe someone in defence would be a good addition. This guy's a good addition. He can also apparently play as a defensive midfielder as well. He's supposed to have really, really good distribution, a really strong defender. And this, for me, again, represents another good signing. It's taken me by surprise because I kind of thought that Arsenal were going to wait it out until the summer. They've been linked heavily with Evan Ndicka, whose contract runs out at the end of the season. Of course, he plays for Eintracht Frankfurt. I've spoken about him on the show before. But maybe Arsenal are thinking to themselves, he's going to be so difficult to get. There's lots and lots of clubs interested in him. And maybe they've just said that this guy fits their profile better. We got to trust them on this. They've been doing good work with these transfers. So again, another shrewd bit of business by Arsenal, and it strengthens our squad. And that's what we need. We need squad depth. And all of a sudden, we're starting to see it. That's great squad depth for the defensive areas. When you look at it, 2 excellent left backs, 2 excellent right backs, 2 excellent right-sided centre-backs. Now we've got 2 excellent left-sided centre-backs. That's strength in depth. But what about the midfield? That's still an area where we're looking at and saying we could do with an extra body in there. We could do with someone else in there. Well, we've been heavily linked with a move for Eduardo Camavinga of Real Madrid. Now, if we could pull this one off, this would be an excellent signing. I've got to say, it's a player that I love watching. I remember him at his time at Rennes. Remember the first time I watched him, I watched him playing for Rennes. I think it was against PSG. And I was like, who's this kid? At that time, I think he was about 17. I'm like, who is he? He was just dominating the midfield. A really excellent player, French international. He was at the World Cup. Still only 20. Now, he got the big move. He moved from Rennes to Real Madrid. But this season, he hasn't really been used a lot. Most of his games have been off the substitute bench. A lot of times he's been substituted, the first player off. He's really been used sparingly. Listen, it's a brilliant midfield they've got there. Players like Valverde, Modric, all these sort of guys, Cruz in that midfield. He's found it difficult to get starts. Now, the rumours are that Arsenal are interested in taking him on loan from now till the end of the season. We know already, it's common knowledge, that the number 1 target for Arsenal in the summer is going to be Declan Rice at West Ham. But if they could secure Camavinga from now till the end of the season, that would represent an excellent piece of business. Now, caution, these are rumours at this stage. A lot of it's going to boil down to Ancelotti. Ancelotti says that he still admires the player. I saw the other day that he was even saying that, listen, sort of almost like apologising a bit to Camavinga, saying, listen, sorry you're always getting substituted. Sorry you've not started. I do still believe in you. But it could be a time thing. He's still only 20. Maybe they send him out on loan to a club like Arsenal. He gets more game time, toughens up a bit. Well, listen, he's quite tough, to be honest. But I think the thing about it when I saw him with Ancelotti is that he's still a bit thing with his positioning. But I think it would be an excellent loan signing if Arsenal could pull it off. But can we pull it off? And if we do, I still think that this one would probably be one of those late transfer window ones. But let's see how that one develops. Camavinga, possibly from Real Madrid. Let's wait and see. Ivan Fresneda, we've spoken about quite a lot of times on the show. Again, another right back from La Liga, plays for Real Valladolid. Fabrizio Romano, I note, saying that he's going to make a decision on where he decides to go next week. Arsenal interested, Newcastle interested. Of course, we've got 2 very good right backs at the moment, but one for the future, still only 18 years of age, and Arsenal said to be big admirers of him. And could Arsenal take advantage of the mess that is going over, is happening at the moment over there in Serie A with Juventus? Juventus yesterday docked 15 points for all the irregular, they've had a lot of problems with irregularities and tax. We know that the whole of their board resigned. Sporting director of Tottenham, Paratici, he's been caught up in it as well. He's been banned as well. And as I said, there's been a ban handed down on Juventus. They've been deducted 15 points, which is going to make them be in the mid-table. They're really going to struggle now to make the Champions League for next season, which will plunge them into massive financial problems. We know that Juventus have always been one of these clubs that have been pushing for the Super League because finances are just not going well, and now they've been caught out, with a lot of irregularities here. Could Arsenal swoop for a couple of Juventus players? Dusan Vlahovic, of course, who we were interested before he went to Juventus. He must be now looking on that and thinking, boy, maybe I should have went to Arsenal after all. Now he's caught up in all that mess. And what about Manuel Locatelli? That was another player that Arsenal were always interested in. Could they swoop for him as well? Maybe get him in as that backup to Thomas Partey. I mean, he plays in that role. You never know. We have to watch that one from now till the end of the transfer window. The only thing about this one is I saw a lot of people getting excited on it online, but Juventus are going to appeal this decision. So I don't think you will see big outcomes on this until the end of the season. But certainly come the summer, a lot of players that are playing for Juventus right now are going to become targets for some of the big clubs around Europe, including Arsenal. So listen, thanks for watching the show today. I'm about to get ready to go out in the I'm looking outside, some thick fog, right? But I'm about to go out there because my son's playing. That's if he's still on. Bloody hell, you can't even see 10 yards, right? In a game today. But listen, I'm getting excited about the transfer window. We're adding depth. Looking forward to that Man United game tomorrow. Don't forget to check out all of our excellent content that we've got around the Man United game. We've got some great stuff, the superfan debates, the previews. Also, check out some of our deep dives, like including the one that James did into Leandro Trossard. Really, really interesting in where he could play at Arsenal. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.